should be, it should be done in 1 day. Take everything out of that freezer. We'll just set a little something.
I'm the edge of my seat.
Take all the food out. It'll be out long.
They suggested that we get money, so
Yeah. I would think that's plan ahead. We still have like a year or we've got more, a couple of days from that. Even if we said we were here, we'll be working on it.
I'd like to put the sign out this
And
morning.
then we can move it back.
What's that? I forgot to put the sign out this morning. I think one of your people know already.
Oh, I know. You can sit there all day.
I found out about the been waiting for this for 15 months.
Hey, maybe you know the answer to this. When an employee buys something and then you reimburse them, do they pay sales tax on stuff?
Well, that's the thing, they probably should have gotten a tax-free form to take with them, but it's, I can see where they don't, so we don't pay back the tax as a town, but if they had to, if
Because they pay for it out of their pocket, they
right,
have
we
to.
should,
Right.
yeah.
They could take it.
Believe me, I would have held it up if I thought otherwise,
Okay.
or put a note on it or something, you know, for your
It's only
attention.
$3, but it's,
And I think as long as I don't have something going on, I get the answers. Oh, is that done? Okay. Question? Question for the truck, that was, that the building.
Yeah, yeah. Just wanted to make sure. Take a few minutes to remember.
That's fine. What's going on there?
Is that better? Can you see better?
yeah, it helps.
You get one light that's pretty bad up there.
Yeah.
We talked about replacing those here, and the price was just too high.
What company is it? Something over here. They had a company that came in, there was something with the brand and stuff, and I didn't see what else to do.
Yeah.
You know, they'll have control.
Right.
At least I can see a little.
I'm using it, not out of the teacher. No. because you weren't using it as much as the.
That's why I can't figure that out. Why that seems to not be. Yes. It's much, no, it's wood button. And she put the third thing in the T too, and that may be my issue. I think we need to do the third thing.
If you go in the hall and sign the form, please, thank you. I can give you that.
That's fine.
It's like checking the plastic off. So I put it in the refrigerator, like the first thing.
One of the ones in the city started having a little leak. I didn't know why we did that. And I threw some away and then I felt like I was. Is that one okay to say? Yeah. Yes, I did. Because she was.
Thank you.
Gallon bottle wasn't certain. So it said in the. It said we can.
That's an air thing.
But I know what you mean.
Trying to say wavelength, and that's not saying a lot.
That's
Yeah, they didn't have a liquor license and everything, but then one of the women did one piece out. I think they were.
State license.
I found it in what she found it in She said there's a man down there, and I'm thinking, of course.
Oh, no, she meant.
They used to help cut the man.
Yeah, it's a slicer thing.
Go back, shades like over the street.
Yeah. And you go back, yeah, they made it. You can do slicers or well, lots of better.
Yeah, and if they can, if they need the mills and this.
Things change. You know, we call it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Take it to the health center.
Wait, now, it's such.
She said, and you know, I did just push it, it's like,
I might do a better job, right?
It was only about 2 resolutions.
Oh, she has a name.
You know, last night, we actually, you know, the windows open, just a little bit, so, you know, we're right in, and they bring it, like, the anyway, because you get everything, you know. Oh, man,
My father did she, that's what he said.
had to go home, and take care of us.
She had to let that spicy.
And he really didn't like it, and
I saw some.
further down, and kind of get more flooded here, generally speaking, I mean, whenever there's a lot of rain, family, get around Columbia County and, you know, yeah, I mean, they're actually, yeah, well, they're like, okay, maybe get it over with and we'll have sunny weather for the summer.
Yeah. They rated it down.
Yeah, we got a lot to make up for. I mean, there's a lot of people have things like this.
Like a barrier, so it doesn't,
My grandmother, but then she never showed me this.
People they take.
Hours to take care of COVID, and I think I'm trying to do it for a long time now. But it's pretty bad, I mean, you know, you want to be able to keep the shows needed for nine seconds, and in 40 hours, I mean, just barely get us over the show, you know, we got kids.
I'm gonna go use that.
Make sure that show so bad.
Yeah.
No, I have free, I will get
Exactly.
we have, we've, got the excavation. Sorry. You have my upgrade.
Yeah, they got some old machines, but we have.
Oh, it's wicked.
Yeah, those years, man, we got a lot.
Oh, my goodness.
I got it like flies.
I know, but you have to wait, and then it was an idea, right?
Oh, it is, it is hard. You have it over in our raw foods.
Yeah,
Not as much. We used to get, we get rash.
part of the job.
The fella told me after 7 years or 11 years, they go away.
Yeah.
They get clear.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
I think
Now,
you
it doesn't- no,
just get
it's
spots. You
small-
get
small
spots.
spots. It
Yeah.
doesn't spread it everywhere.
Right.
They say
We
you
used to
can,
have to get shots and stuff.
They won't get it.
so if you get sick.
It'd be nice to be able to fetch on. Smell
It was like it just a minute shot.
It was, this, took a while for
That's what I'm
us.
saying. I'm trying to get the-
When, Dad, my sister was doing mine and all. They used to have to kind of get them ready, get ready, have to just go and analyze it. And then they put that. Yeah.
They're working on it, it's just at the end of the 2-day contract.
But you,
Within a week.
I don't know, I think I'm getting one thing.
I don't know, but I know when I was in here, like on here, I was doing, something's happened, and then virtually in the branches where I go, they have to go south.
What would you tell them before they do this stuff?
Yeah.
So, it was a phone.
Right, well,
Yeah,
it's
like then they
there.
figured out, you know, each person really.
So if it goes down too far,
I can't tell.
And then it goes back.
What?
Empty out. This is a small town, they don't.
I will hear about it. So just like, that was just like, you can't tell, but the phone goes down, you have to call Verizon so that they'll call one. That's what I push it for some reason, they won't just.
That's the way, she said, that's the way the problem is, the internet goes down.
Usually if our power is out, we don't have gills. Right, we always have to plug it.
But we didn't, that don't know whether it's a plug generator.
The early 19th century was.
We don't wait 24 hours.
Well,
The
the
ability
Verizon,
to
the
bring
cheapest,
in
the
X
cheapest
number of
Verizon
people,
one is like
and you have to
$59.
show
Yeah.
some
And
reason why they believe that you're gonna be a good
Split
person.
was,
Yeah, and you had to have someone to sponsor you, so you had to have somewhere to live, and you had to have a
They
way
have long distance rate.
to pay for yourself.
Yeah.
Well, they don't use
Member
it
or
anymore,
something.
it's just emergency,
And if you
they use
didn't qualify,
it's like
you have to have
use cell
a
phone. But that's going back to the cell tower. So it goes back to cell
Stacy made the US.
Very true, so then they have to buy whatever
Your
you
cell
pay
phone.
for.
They got slim.
That's
Same
why
as
my
us.
family had family at night.
It gets better.
They did their own side, and then they went to
That's
Iowa.
the way it used to be. It wasn't enough speed.
Came before.
You could call somebody with a cell phone.
They are not the one
You
who
could do
do
that.
that. I like to live in my life. I was all that, I was all in the grass, and I went over to the library, and I went down to Mrs. Parisi. She got it, and it was free, and I did all kinds of genealogy. Actually, I knew they came.
Good evening. Welcome to the Town of Vernon's regular board meeting, June 9th, 2021. I'd like to call the meeting to order, please. Can we stand for the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like to take roll call. Councilman DeLucia,
Here.
Supervisor Shepler,
Here.
Councilman Brown,
Here.
Councilman Needham,
Here.
and let the record show that Councilwoman Harris is absent.
I'd like to please request a moment of silence for Mr. Donald Carpenter, please. And I would also like at this time to extend our condolences to the family of Keith Parent for the sudden and tragic loss of his father and his sister. Can we please have a moment of silence for the family? Thank you. Thank you. The supervisor's report for June 9th, 2021. This is the first meeting in many months that the town board and its residents have not had to wear masks unless you are not vaccinated, in which case you're required to still wear a mask and maintain a 6-foot distance. Everyone is asked to please continue to sign in the visitor's log in the vestibule, put your phone number and answer the 2 questions. Thank you. We're not going to be doing temperatures anymore at this point in time. I am pleased to share with the residents of the town of Thurman that a new garbage truck has been ordered and is expected to arrive this fall. And I just got a serial number for it, so it's in its works. Just a reminder, gleaning will be July 12th. It's a week later because of the holiday weekend, so it is going to be Monday, July 12th, 2021. This is the second Monday of the month. Please be advised that the resolutions for the month's meetings are on the town's webpage the Friday before the board meeting. Any questions, please feel free to call my office. The town board did a walkthrough of the Harris House with Cedarwood Engineering on May 5th, 2021. The board was given recommendations of Cedarwood. Would the board please be prepared to discuss this at our next board meeting on July 14th, 2021? Thank you. At this time, I'd like to have privilege of the floor.
Before you start taking that, I just would like to address the folks here based on the last meeting that we had. I kind of stuck my neck out and brought forward the resolution for privilege of the floor. I would just ask that everyone please ask us tough questions, ask us pointed questions, hold us to account for what we're doing here, but please be respectful and just conduct yourself in the appropriate way so that we don't get into shouting matches and arguments. But please ask us the tough questions, and we should have to answer those questions as best we can. So, thank you.
I have privilege of the floor. Mary, your hand is up.
Do you have a date for SWIFT to be connected back?
Yes, the 30th of June.
That sounds good.
Yes, it does.
And, do you have a date for the septic inspection?
They are scheduled to come in, I think it is the 29th of June, but that is subject to change.
Okay. And will it take more than a day?
I imagine it might, because we have to also work with Pat and his crew, because they have to dig up where the inspectors want it to be dug up, and then they have to scope it. So it's conceivable it could take more than a day.
Last question, food pantry, will people be able to come in and get their own food?
For now, I think it's working really well the way it is, and we can go ahead and probably continue it through July, and then visit it again, I think, as a food pantry committee is what I would like to do. All right?
You need it in other towns in the county or state, or just the people here in Thurman?
Oh,
When you said we'll visit it again.
Oh, no, I meant the town of Thurman's
We'll discuss.
committee, the folks who work on the committee here.
We'll discuss.
And then
Okay.
we can
I thought
sit down
maybe
and
you
discuss.
had to find out from the state.
No. I think, after the July one, as long as our numbers are still good, and goodness knows seem to be going in the right direction, then I think we can start inviting folks in to do their own shopping, if you will. Okay?
Mhm.
Thank you. Anybody else have any, Deb?
Regarding the privilege of the floor, maybe some people don't realize this, but if a person doesn't have internet, coming in here cold at the beginning of the meeting, you really don't know what to ask about, because there aren't printed handouts on the table like there used to be. I wonder if something could be done about that so we could participate more intelligently.
We can look into doing that, yes, but the board packet is available online. It is on the webpage.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, for those of us who don't have internet,
Maybe you could have a few
Okay.
copies printed out on Friday before.
to pay the bills
Usually
while,
don't go until it's Friday
That-
morning,
while
like
things
they
are
say.
going crazy in the wake of COVID, it's
Okay.
like trying to find time to do anything extra. is
Thank
kinda
you.
Crazy, yeah.
We'll look into trying to accomplish that for the next meeting, all right? Thank you. Perky, your hand is up next.
Well, now that Randy said we should be nice, seriously,
I came tonight to ask the board to not vote for the occupancy tax resolution that's been proposed for this evening. The reason I asked that is that, if we were a business here in town, like Americade, where we were selling an event, and at the end of the event, we then had money to pay the bills, or pay the reimbursement, that would be different. But when you have a small town, a small organization, not-for-profit, and they don't make any event money as an organization from the event because it's a free event, there's no money generated to pay except from our regular budget. So early prepayment is a hardship. But at the same time, I understand that the town doesn't want to front its own money for these things. But we're starting out this year with, there should be $30,000 from last year, and, that was paid in November by the county,
It was paid in October, yes.
October.
And it isn't in the budget code, it is in the budget. That is correct. The money for this year isn't due until October.
But there is money that could be fronted, that is occupancy tax money. It was
I was told that that money doesn't exist by the chairman of the committee. And I know you've had a discussion with him, so, and I think he made the same reference to you also.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Perky and I both had the opportunity.
But the money doesn't exist or doesn't?
It doesn't exist in the budget code, no. It does not exist in the budget code.
In
What
the
appears,
town's budget code?
that is correct, for occupancy tax and tourism. What it shows there is the money that we're anticipating getting in October. Okay?
But,
And it's only $30,000, not the 45 that we were accustomed to for many years.
but the town has last year's money in the budget, in their,
It's in the general fund.
And Kevin said that was not appropriate. It was supposed to always stay in, there was A166.
No, what it does is every year, at the end of the year, it goes into the, to the general fund, because that's part of the general fund budget code. And then when it comes into next year's budget, then we can add it into, is what we would do.
But that money is still occupancy tax now, correct?
It is,
Yeah.
but it's not available to us until we get our funds in October.
I'm so confused right now. You're saying you've got it, but you don't have it.
It's in the general fund. It is not in the budget code. The money that appears in our budget for the budget code is $30,000. That is anticipated money to be received by Warren County in October. The reason,
Okay, you've got last year's money, and you're going to get this year's money.
that is correct.
And you can't use last year's money until you get this year's money?
We can't use last year's money because it's in the general fund. What we can use is the money that's due to come into us in October.
So what's gonna happen with last year's money?
It sits in the general fund and then it will reappear in the budget code, in the budget line for next year.
I
For
didn't understand.
2022?
Yes, whatever is left over will show in the budget for next year.
I think you're wrong.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry, but that was what the chairman of the committee explained to me, and I think he explained it to Perky too.
He explained it to me too. and
Okay,
I explained
That's
it.
fine,
He told me that $30,000
was lost.
should always come into the next year for the early year spending.
Not for the early year. It comes in October. The county and the majority of the towns in Warren County who are in receipt of occupancy money have a home rule where it is, you expend and then it's a reimbursement program. And quite honestly, I think that works best because then there's no loss of funds, no rolling over of funds. And the Warren County and the town of Thurman closes its books on December 31st, so everything has to be in by December 31st. So I know you like to apply for the Fall Farm Tour, and then you like to apply for the Maple Days, thank you very much. And Maple Days can't be applied for this year until January, because it's next year's budget is where it's coming from.
Well, the reimbursement factor is very difficult. It would be for any nonprofit group to come up with the kind of funds that reaches down far enough to be calling this a tourist event, because we're supposed to bring in people who put their heads in Warren County
Right, I
hits.
understand that. But I can also tell you that I do know that Mr. Garrity explained to me and to you that if there's a hardship situation, you could bring your books and your bank statements in and we can go through them and find out how much of a hardship it is.
He didn't tell me that.
Okay, well, that's what he explained to me.
We know that Warren County tourism is one of the biggest industries going. It drives an awful lot of our Warren County economy. A study done in 2015 indicated that $567 million was raised by tourism and the shopping and the lodging. Lodging was the biggest part of it. I think that was 235 of the 567,000. So we're very invested in reaching far outside Warren County to advertise, which we've been doing over the years, but it's costly and to.
But you purchased Mannix, didn't you? You purchased the Mannix system to allow you to advertise far and wide?
We have a Mannix website.
Right, and that allows you to advertise far and wide, does it not?
Somewhat, but we still have to get things out under people's noses, rack cards and newspaper ads and so on. We do Facebook and so on, but it's costly. And it's just an awful lot to ask for a nonprofit organization. And I really wish the board would consider doing what some other towns have done and offering some upfront funding for small groups that have low budget.
I also, we need to, not to interrupt you, but I am going to. I was told that somebody had said that Warrensburg gets their money up front, and I confronted Mr. Garrity on that fact, and they don't get any money up front.
I talked with Mr. Garrity too, he assured me that none of them got it up front except, and there was an exception, there was one of them, and he mentioned to me the Historical Society, the Beautification Committee, the Chamber, and the fire company, and I can't for the life of me remember which one, but I do know one of them got it up front, and it's the same as Stony Creek. Stony Creek did a lot of reimbursement, but the big event, the Mountain Days, the $10,000 or $15,000 got it up front because they could not afford it. So every town that I talked to, and I talked to a lot of them, some of them did reimbursement and up front, but none of them did just reimbursement, none of them did.
Well, thank you, but I will argue that point because I was told Warrensburg explicitly is reimbursement only.
I believe it was the fire company, if I'm not mistaken, that they put on the smoke eaters.
The smoke eaters.
And I don't believe that I don't believe they have enough money to upfront it. I believe that was the one that they didn't upfront it.
Well-
He told me very specifically that.
As I stated before, if you really feel you've got a hardship here, then you can bring your books in and your bank statements for the last 5 years, and we'll sit down and go over it, and I'll invite Warren County and Mr. Garrity, who's the chair of the committee, to come over and to look at them and see what we can do. I am not against giving you guys any money because you've done a tremendous job in the past of bringing a tremendous amount of tourism to the town, and it's benefited a lot of people. I just think that we need to now look at how money is being spent, and the simple fact that if it's not being expended, it needs to come back, which it hasn't come back to the town. So, and we have to close our books by the 31st of December. So, and I know that you had commented, or one of the two of you, and I'm not sure which one now, please excuse me, that you don't close your books until the end of January. Well, being that it's county money coming from the town, you have to close that section of your books by the end of December 4th. So I am willing to work with you, but in the future, I think you need to start looking at a way of fundraising or what have you. I know that you have fundraised, I know you've gotten a grant, and I do know that there was money left over from last year. So I mean, I will work with you, bring your books in, bring your 5 years worth of bank statements in, and we'll all sit down together and go through it. and see what we can do, all right? It may not be 100% reimbursement, it may be a partial reimbursement and a partial upfront. All right, but I think going forward, we need to look at doing the reimbursement because that seems to work extremely well for other towns in the area. And I know that I had talked to you and I had suggested you going to the county. The county, I think, could probably offer you perhaps more financially than we could, and that was what was recommended, so. And they would offer you the same thing, if it's a hardship, they would offer to look at your books and your bank records and see what they can come up with. But let me know, I'm more than happy to sit down with you. Like I said, you guys have done a yeoman's job in the past and have raised tremendous amount of money here in the town of Thurman. And the exposure has been fabulous for the town. And it's been greatly appreciated, it hasn't gone unnoticed, and I don't want you to think that it has. So thank you both very, very much. It's truly appreciated. Winnie?
We've been trying to get in touch with you and talk to you about this for about 2 years now. Before you got voted in, I tried to talk to you about occupancy tax, and you refused to talk to us. So now, if we come in, you will talk with us. I just wanted to clarify.
If we have an appointment, yes, I will sit down and talk to you. My phone has been working and I do get a lot of calls from a lot of people. I haven't heard from you, Wendy, since White Space, so,
Traditionally, you don't return calls.
that's not a true statement.
We have, what has changed that made you decide, that made you decide? Because I mean, this is your decision, I believe.
No, it's not my decision alone.
I would just like to know what's changed since it has worked fairly well for the past, I don't know how many years, under John Haskell, under Abby, under Cynthia, it's worked fine.
Well, you guys have a contract. We don't have a contract anymore. The money is in the town. So you need to apply for
To
it.
begin with, there was no I don't know when the contract has to do with it.
The
but there was
TSA
no-
had a contract,
There was
I
no
do believe.
contract under John Haskell, there was no contract in the beginning of, under Abby.
Well, I can't speak for John Haskell, and I can only speak for a portion of the time with Evelyn. But the,
I'd just like to know
what changed, I've gone to the county board meetings, and I've gone to the committee meetings, and I've listened to what they all have to say. And the fact that we have in the past given money out without anything, has really upset a few people. And they said they didn't understand why we were doing that.
Who did it upset?
Other board members, they were saying that that's not how it should be done. We should be following the guidelines of the county. It's money coming in from the county.
Can you tell me which board members?
I'm not going to throw anybody under the bus, Winnie.
Because we've talked to other towns about how they did it. In fact, a couple of towns right now use our application that we created.
That's correct.
And every time I've talked with anybody about occupancy tax, when we told them the procedures that we went through, they were very impressed. In fact, they told us that we were more demanding, more procedural than they were. And this was the past chairman of the occupancy tax committee,
Right.
county occupancy tax committee, and other county workers or county supervisors. So I'd really like to know who
Winnie, I
is.
am not throwing anybody under the bus, but I will tell you again that yes, other supervisors have spoken to me, and they were very surprised that we were just giving the money out without doing a reimbursement. So, looking at what is
All
offered,
the other towns do it, not 100%.
No.
They-
they don't all do it, Winnie.
Which ones don't?
Warrensburg is one who does not do it. They will look at a hardship.
You're wrong.
Well, I just had a discussion with him yesterday, and I came out and point blank asked him,
Well, he told me that there was one of the,
well, we'll have a meeting with him, all right? I think that might help to alleviate some of this confusion, all right?
I'm not confused.
Well, neither am I. So,
I'm serious,
what are you confused about?
if we got all that extra money in there, there's gotta be a way.
It is-
Whether they say or not, there's gotta be a way that the town counted out. I don't feel that they should have to go to Warren County to get something that's right here in Thurman. I mean, they're Thurman people, they're not. They are part of Warren County, but this is also Thurman.
That's right.
There's gotta be a way we can help, somehow.
Well, but it's.
Somehow we've got to do it.
That's not the issue. They were advised.
Right, I
They were
understand what
advised
you're
by the
saying.
chairman that if they wanted to go for, because these are very large events and
That
they
they
want
should have been
more money.
notified last fall that this money was gonna be put away for a year and a half, 2 years.
Did we know that?
Well, we should have, Warren County should have told you that. I mean, they should have told us.
No, they didn't.
Well, and I still think we should try.
But the money never, the historical portion of it, the money never comes to the individual towns until October. That has been the way it's been forever. The towns get their money
Maybe
in
we could be
October.
the first to try something then. You know, we gotta try something.
Well, we can't get the money until October.
If it's in the general fund, we can't come up with any way to get it.
It's not in the budget code and we have to take it from the fund balance at this point in time to do it.
Then we
And that's
find
not
out
an
what our
acceptable
exact
use
fund
of it.
budget is then.
That I don't believe is an acceptable use. I can find out though.
Well, we really should find out, you know, exactly. I'll come in and see you. We really
That's
should find out exactly what the fund budget.
That's fine.
Well,
It's
yeah.
on your forms to get it.
Right, right.
It's there, the trial balance, the fund budget, and everything.
I just don't believe that any organization, part of Thurman, or even the people should have to leave Thurman to get anything.
They don't
done.
have to.
Well,
They do
you're
not have
saying
to.
they had to go to Warren County.
No, I
If they go
said,
to Warren County, that's leaving Thurman. And there's a couple other incidents, I
Ed?
won't bring it up.
Ed, I was told by the chairman of the committee
That's the new
suggest to
chairman
her-
now.
to suggest to Perky, because these are two extremely large events, that she go to the county and apply for the money there.
I still don't think.
When I
that'd
did
be
talk
right.
to him about that, he said, well, maybe if it's a smaller event than Maple Days, he said, I know Maple Days is
It's
big,
huge.
but, maybe if this is smaller, a local grant would be appropriate. So, you know, maybe we need to sit down with him.
That's
I
fine.
think that would
The
be.
fall farm tour is smaller.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, it is smaller, much smaller than the
Instead of 6 days.
Maple Days.
We should be starting publicity right now. This is part of the issue, is the time factor, this caught us off balance completely.
Well, honestly, I think the time factor has caught us all off guard a little bit, because up until 4 weeks ago, there wasn't even a consideration for doing something of this sort. So I think we're all running around and scrambling to try and get ourselves organized and advertised and ready for it. And I understand that, I really do. But the thing of it is, I think not only your organization, but other organizations in the town, I think we as a town need to be more accountable for the money, is what I'm saying. And, by doing it with receipts, then there's one receipt for, the Fall Farm Tour, and then next year, when you do your event, then you've only got receipts for the event that's taking place in March.
Always given receipts. Have you
I've
looked at,
I've looked at them, yes, I have,
and have you seen the receipts?
yes, I have,
And
yes, I
is there
have.
a problem with the receipts?
Some of the receipts were used for more than one event, and that is a problem.
It was divided.
Yeah, see, but you
General
need to have,
publicity.
you need to have one event, one receipt. You can't advertise, because like Fall Farm Tour and the Maple Days are in 2 separate years, so you can't combine the monies.
No, they're 1 year.
We
Yeah, they're
did
two
the Maple
separate
Days for
Yeah, they're 1 year.
for the spring of 1 year, and Fall Farm Tour of the same year. is
All right,
one.
that's fine, but when
We
we're
don't need to take
looking
your
at it, the way we're
meeting.
looking at it this year, it is the Fall Farm Tour is going to be in 2022. Maple Days will be in 2023.
But I'm asking you, was there a problem with the receipts that we sent in? And yes, we did split some. That was something new, because by splitting it, by paying with some of the advertisings, if I'm not mistaken, some of the advertisements or some of the rack cards or some of the distributors, if we paid it for one lump sum, we got a much better deal. We saved money.
I
than if we had to
understand.
pay. So are you saying there was a problem with that?
Yes, there was.
Even though we were saving
unfortunately, you need to have very specific receipts for each specific event. Do you have anything else you'd like to add or say?
I think that's it.
Thank you. Cynthia, you've got your hand up?
Yeah, whose decision, who is it that's deciding that they shouldn't be given the $30,000 that's supposed to be used for tourism? Who's decided
The
that?
board is.
The board?
is.
Wait, what?
The board is. It's called a home rule.
No, who in this town of these officials, these five people sitting here, who made that decision?
Tonight it will be made.
Because it sounded
Because
like
we
you're
don't
saying
have
that they
a
can't have
contract.
it.
No, I've never said they can't have it, and I would encourage them to apply for it.
So is there a resolution tonight saying, this is what we're gonna do with the occupancy tax
No.
money? Is there a resolution tonight?
The resolution that's before the board tonight is going on what is called a home rule, and the money is remaining in the town. It is not, we don't have a contract with the TSA any longer.
Wait a minute, you're confusing me. You get $30,000
Yes, we do,
for tourism. You had
Yes.
last year $30,000 in the bank.
in the
Yes.
bank.
Well, then give it to them. I mean, there's no point in sitting there, they need it. But wait a minute, but why, who made the decision that it has to sit, it sounds like you're
It
saying.
It hasn't
It hasn't
been
been made.
decided.
It hasn't been made.
So do you have a resolution?
The resolution in front of us tonight is for a new application procedure, but there's no application to give anybody any money or any decisions being
Well-
made tonight as far as resolutions are concerned.
Right.
Can't you
The
just hand it over to them like
No, you
every,
can't just
always?
hand it over to them simply.
Who said?
The county said because we have to become.
But the county doesn't dictate what you do here. You dictate what you do
Understand
here.
that, but
No,
we need to be
you
responsible.
dictate what you do here, not the county.
Thank you, Cynthia. Thank you. Thank you.
That's the way it works.
Thank you.
You're not
Mary,
the
you had
boss.
your hand up in the back?
I think you clarified it, I was confused about where the 30,000 was, because
No, don't.
I thought it used to be that if they didn't use, you got the 30,000 in October, and all the money that they used, and they only used 28, I thought at one point you might have to give the extra 2,000 back to the county. If
There
it
was
wasn't,
some discussion about
wasn't there
that.
something like that?
There used to be, but from what I understand at this point in time, you put it back into your budget, and then it goes and appears on the budget line for next year. So it'd be $32,000 next year is what the budget line would show as.
Okay, so the who's the chairman of the committee down there that you talked?
Kevin
If you-
Garrity, Supervisor Garrity,
Oh, he's
he's the
For-
chairman of the tourism committee.
Okay, so he's the one that has decided that you can't give last year's?
No, he says it doesn't exist because it's not in your budget code for this year, and it's not. The $30,000 that exists on paper for this year is the money that we're supposed to be receiving in October.
Yeah, well, that's just so confusing, because if you
I'm
got
sorry.
$30,000 in your hand in last October 2020, and this is still in funds of,
General
in
fund,
your,
yes.
in your checking account,
Mhm.
that you can't use that until some other time, that does not make sense, so why
I
did
was
they,
told it
why
was
did they
lost money.
Yeah, why did they give the town money
right there.
in October
I
2020?
know,
It's not in the budget.
I believe, Mary, the answer to your question is that $30,000 exists in our general fund balance.
Right,
Correct.
Whether it is designated as appropriated, or I don't know what the right term is.
It's not, yeah.
But it is part of the fund balance, and it is occupancy tax money, and once it's occupancy tax money, it is always occupancy tax money.
Earmarked for.
It can't be taken
tax.
for something else.
Stay there.
Right.
right, and they didn't give it back, they didn't
No.
have to give it
There
back.
used to be a thought that we had to give it
Yes.
back. People were under that belief, but we've since determined that none of the towns give it back. It just rolls over to
Right.
next year.
They
When
may
it
ask for
remains.
it.
And that's
Well,
obvious, or they wouldn't have given it to you in October, because nobody could use it last in 2020.
Remains in the budget, we can't use it.
It's not actually in the budget, it's in the general fund
General
balance.
fund, we can't-
Right.
We just can't write you a check for $30,000.
Well, you could take it out of the fund balance.
Absolutely.
You could.
If the fund balance.
I mean, we do it for garbage truck,
Yeah.
Right.
Well, we
we do it
haven't
for dump
yet,
truck.
we haven't yet,
I mean,
either one of those. We're going to,
It's something we're gonna have to talk about.
but
I know we got
it
it.
doesn't mean that the TSA is getting $30,000. They're getting only what they're
Don't look at me.
applied for.
I will talk about occupancy tax in general terms, but I will not discuss anything to
Thank
do with
you,
the
because,
TCA
yes, you can't,
or
I
TSA.
understand.
which are-
Somebody, Deb, you had your hand up?
I know in the past, there were times when PSA refunded part of the money they didn't use, and I would keep a spreadsheet, and the next year, they'd have that 30,000 plus what they had given back to me. So if they had 30,000 and they didn't use it at all, it should still be allocated occupancy tax.
It is,
Even though it may not be in the budget, it's
It
still part of your fund balance.
that's,
So it's available for use, you just have to figure out how they would make an application.
that's right.
That's what I think is
But
the true part.
that is also not the full discussion. The full discussion is they want to get free ride with however much money it is that they wish to apply for, with not doing it as a reimbursement. And what I was told to do was tell them if they consider this a hardship, then we could bring their books in and look at it and see what is appropriate and how much they can actually.
But with COVID, they couldn't have done anything last year. to
Well,
get
they
reimbursed.
got a grant and they raffled off some things, so they did bring some money in last year. This year, last year, and this year.
Yeah, but they didn't have any event.
Nobody did.
No, so that's what I'm saying, that money is still sitting there.
Right.
They should be able to have a way to make an application for the 30 that's already there. So that they
It's
can
not in the
spend it
budget.
to get reimbursed with the next one.
They don't get reimbursed.
Well, you
The town will get
the town
reimbursed,
gets
yeah,
reimbursed.
We have to see receipts.
yeah. We have to have receipts and they have to account for everything.
Yeah.
Kathy?
Yeah, I just think that after the year that we've had, the jumping through hoops for the OT money is ridiculous, and this isn't a year for that change. You guys can address this after these events are taking place, and, I mean, you guys are on for, another 6 months, so you have a lot of time to decide this. These folks want to do their event now. They need to plan for it now. It takes a lot of time. And I don't know if you guys all know, I know you do, Susan, I know you do, Randy. It takes a lot of time to do this, a lot of effort. And to make them wait 2 weeks to have some kind of meeting with Kevin and get this all hammered out is ridiculous, excuse me. And I've heard you out and I understand where you're coming from, but I just don't think that you need to do this right now. I think you need to wait and get these people set up. My other question is, when will the remaining AUDs be completed
They
and
won't
date
be.
specific?
They
You
won't
will
be.
never complete them.
18,
You will not complete
17,
them.
18, and 19 cannot be completed because.
You will not complete
I
them.
cannot complete them.
You will not.
17 is
I
done.
cannot,
You will not.
you can't do 19 without doing 18, and 18 can't be completed without 17.
17 is done.
Well, I got a letter upstairs from the comptroller's office stating
Show
that
it.
it's not done.
All the numbers
Show it.
on the 2018 you have, 17 is all filled out. That would not be filled out if the comptroller had not received and accepted the 2017. Those numbers are on 2018 that they sent out. You can't change them, that's from the comptroller. If they have numbers there, it was submitted. I know it was submitted because I submitted it.
Well, I'll be more than happy to show you if you want to come upstairs, not tonight, but tomorrow or another day. I'll be more than happy to show you where it's gotten not filed in 3 years and we were in fiscal stress as a result of it.
It's not 16 and 17, they're done. And 18 is almost all the way done.
But you can't do 18 because
Because
The
of
books are
2016, is why you can't do it.
because of 16.
Right?
16 is done, 17
No,
is
no,
done.
because of that, because of the due to, due from 2016, that's the thing that's holding it up.
But they still accepted it and put all the numbers in.
Oh, I know you did.
Yeah.
So, no, they will not be done. And the comptroller's office is fully aware.
And I'll ask you every month until you're out of office.
That's fine, thank you.
You're welcome.
Does anybody else have anything else that they would like to say? Joyce?
Yes, as a taxpayer and listening to all of the money situation, I want to know, as supervisor, how responsible you feel
paid to Gail Seaman. I think you should be as responsible because you hired her and you paid her and you signed the checks. This board has to consider that.
Thank you. Does anybody else have anything else that they would like to, Winnie?
Just last year, there was one payment by the occupancy tax, and I believe it was to the, band when they had the jackwax dinner.
You gave us the $500 or $550, I think
We
it was
didn't
for
give
it.
it to you, we
Well,
had the occupancy tax, you
right.
applied for it.
Right,
So there was money used,
that's correct.
but the balance is left, nothing else was spent.
Okay, fine, so you've got additional sums that were left over that weren't turned back into the town.
Oh, no.
No, we never got anything.
No, you had leftover money, not, you didn't get anything, but you had leftover monies.
No, we didn't retain any money. Everything was used
Okay,
and
because
documented.
Winnie had said that she was gonna use some leftover money to, go into advertising for this year.
Oh, no.
All right,
There's
that's
no
fine,
leftover money.
that's fine,
Sorry.
thank you.
And I would just like to have on record, I did apply last month, I handed in an application.
Yes,
So I did apply for the fall farm tour.
and I also told you we were not
refused to
accepting
accept
them.
it, right?
Well, we weren't accepting it and we weren't discussing it at last
But
night's
you've been
meeting.
a supervisor for what, a year and a half, and you've
Yes.
refused to receive any applications for occupancy grant.
Nobody's given me any.
I gave
You
one last-
gave me one last month, and I told you at that meeting that we were gonna discuss it at this month's meeting, and the application you used wasn't, well, it turns out it isn't the application that we were going to be using, so
I just
hopefully.
wanted to make clear that I did submit one last month, and you refused to accept any prior to that.
That's right, because the board hadn't had the opportunity to come together and discuss
For a
it
year
as a
and a
whole.
half, the board hasn't had an opportunity to get together and discuss occupancy tax.
No, Winnie, we've not. Thank you.
You didn't answer, Mayor, you didn't answer Ms. Eddie's question. You just said thank you.
I did, thank you.
No, answer the question.
Thank you.
I don't think it was a question, I think she
Well,
made a
here's the
statement.
question.
She made a statement.
Okay, I'm asking a question. How are we gonna get paid back for Gail's unauthorized
There
insurance?
is a resolution before the board this evening.
There's a resolution.
Did I answer your question sufficiently? Thank you. Are there any other questions out there? Then I'm going to close privilege of the floor and go on to resolutions. First resolution before the board, would somebody be able to introduce a resolution to accept the revised occupancy tax application? Whereas the town of Thurman received from Warren County occupancy tax money to be distributed with the intent to promote tourism and to enhance the general economy. Be it resolved that the applicants must complete the application and be approved prior to the event. Be it further resolved that this is a reimbursement grant only. No funds will be distributed without receipts or advance of town receiving funds from the county. But we did discuss hardship cases. Would somebody be willing to introduce this? Was that you? Thank you. Do I have a second? I will. Can we please have discussion?
Yeah, I still don't agree with this reimbursement. They can't come up with the money to pay it. You know, we're sitting on
When
this
this whole
stuff.
thing started, that's how it was supposed to have been done, wasn't it?
Yes.
But we were, other towns too were
It
that,
don't
where
matter,
you
that,
could,
the 30,000.
they would let you give them the money.
Earmarked for it's gotta be earmarked. If it's in the fund balance, we as a board should be able to come up with some money. And that's what it's gonna come down to.
Well, it's not the whole $30,000.
Well,
for
no,
what
they
they're
said you
applying
had
for.
500 and some minus, right? Was it last year they?
Well, they gave us
Oh,
$107
oh,
for
yeah.
the band at the Jackrax party.
Well, I really think the board should consider helping myself.
But I also think that in general, it should be a reimbursement policy, and each individual organization be looked at. If there's a hardship situation, then that needs to be reviewed with them.
Money.
They don't have to come up with the
it says dispersed without receipts. You don't get a receipt until the bill's paid, you know?
Ed, what was
You're not
discussed?
gonna convince me. There's
Well, I don't think
33
you're hearing me.
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Okay,
I thought about this since we talked about it earlier.
okay.
There's 30,000 in the fund balance, which we gotta know exactly what our fund balance is.
It's right there.
Even though it's not, you say it's not available, it's gotta be available. The town's not gonna lose any money on it then. If that 30 grand is sitting in that bank or in the general fund,
That's fine.
no, we should be able to help them.
That's fine. And we can help them. We can help anybody as long as
We
they
should
can.
come in and.
But they also need to be
I'll
able
come
to,
in with you if you want. I come.
it needs to be done on a reimbursement basis, and that way we can track the money.
How are they going to get reimbursed if they don't have the money up front?
Because they're coming in with a hardship, and
Right.
so they're not getting the full ride as a reimbursement. They're getting, they would probably get some money up front, and then the balance they can handle as a reimbursement.
Okay.
And that would be true with anybody else who applied.
So why are we doing that?
Well, we are, we've talked about doing that, but we have to have the resolution in place and the application.
Then they should come in and fill their application out so that they can get started on the projects. Summer's gonna be over here in the middle of June already.
That's fine, they can start on their projects, but we need to have a meeting, and we're gonna set one up. I'll try and get one tonight or tomorrow with you guys, set one up. And then we can sit down and go through your books and find out what kind of hardship there is.
Can you
If it's-
sketch out, email me with a list of the
I'd be
things that
happy
you
to.
need?
I'd be happy, did you get your internet up and running?
Yes.
Congratulations. All right, so, it's not gonna be a full ride. It's going to be a partial reimbursement and a partial, what they would call a hardship. But there may be other people here in town that can foot the full bill for a reimbursement. And they have to be able to present all of their receipts in order to be reimbursed.
Have you ever seen it? I haven't heard of it. Not Thurman.
No, Thurman has never done it before, Ed. Thurman is one of the very few towns that don't do it. And it's come to us from the county that we really should be considering doing this.
But we're not the county.
No, and I know you've got a problem with the county, but
Yeah.
we as the town of Thurman need to be responsible and accountable.
We
for
are
our county.
responsible. If they bring their receipts, show us their receipts at them. I don't see where the problem is.
No, I'm good for this.
Mhm.
Yeah, the receipt.
So it's a reimbursement then.
Yeah, but they can't come up with that kind of money to get reimbursed. And this is the way I read it. It says that this is a reimbursement grant only. No funds will be dispersed without receipt.
That is
So how
correct.
can
That's
you
the
give a
way the
receipt if
resolution
you don't
is.
have any funds?
That's correct. But we've also spoke about having a hardship situation
You
where
are-
they can come
Well,
in, anybody
then
who's
this should
applying
be
for
put
it.
into it.
Then let's amend it and put it in
They
there.
should all be put into this resolution.
Let's amend it and put it in there. This
No,
was written,
no, just go on with the resolution, please.
well, no, because if you think that it's something that should be added, do you think we should add that?
No,
No? All
All
right.
right, this is fine.
we'll be sitting on that 30 grand till we're old.
Well, we could be. Do I have any further discussion? No? No? Can I have a roll call vote, please?
Supervisor Shepler,
Yes.
Councilman Needham,
Yes.
Councilman Brown,
No,
Councilman Galusha,
Abstain.
So it's no vote at all, so there's no action taken. So it doesn't go anywhere. So you can still come in, we'll still sit down, we'll still go over your books, and we'll see what we can do for you.
Okay, write me a list, and can we get
I
Kevin
will.
to sit in with us too?
I beg your pardon?
Can we get Kevin to sit in with us?
That was my goal, was to have him come in and sit in with us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you want to read this one? will somebody introduce the resolution regarding reimbursement for the cost of health insurance for the confidential secretary?
I will.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Yeah.
Got it, thank you. Would you be kind enough to read it for me?
Sure.
Please.
Resolution regarding reimbursement for the cost of health insurance for the confidential secretary. Whereas Supervisor Shepler notified former confidential secretary Gail Simmons by certified letter dated April 28, 2021, that the town is requesting that she voluntarily pay back to the town the sum of $9,602.21, which was illegally paid out for her health insurance. And whereas Supervisor Shepler further advised Mrs. Seaman in the April 28, 2021 letter that if she does not voluntarily pay the town back, then the town will take legal action to recoup all expenses in this regard, including legal expenses incurred. And whereas the town has not received the requested payment from Mrs. Seaman to date, be it therefore resolved that Supervisor Shepler is hereby directed to notify Mrs. Seaman by written notice sent certified mail within 1 week of this resolution that the town must be reimbursed the full amount of $9,602.21 within 30 days of receipt of the notification, and if payment is not received by that date, the town board will initiate legal action to recoup the $9,602.21 plus all legal expenses incurred.
Any discussion?
Yeah,
Ed?
I'd like to go along with this, but I truly do not believe in putting any employee's name out there in public. You know, I'm dead set against that. I don't think it's right, I don't think it's legal. I think we should take her name off if we're gonna go further with this. And we already have a resolution passed with this, right? We passed this without the amount in there.
No, we didn't have a date set, we didn't have a deadline. We asked that she voluntarily, that they notify her
Right.
and that she voluntarily pay it back. But I left it open because at that time, I didn't know if there were legal requirements as far as how much notice we had to give her as far as terminating the health insurance.
I agree with you
And that
100%.
was an issue. We couldn't, I wanted to do it the end of April, and that only gave us like less than a week, and I was advised it had to be the end of May for legal reasons, so.
And that's why I did that, because I didn't want to put the town in a jam by asking for something that was illegal.
That's fine.
So
Well,
I left it open that way. Now, the insurance has been terminated, now we're requesting that we be repaid. I don't believe there are any legal deadlines, so we're free to set our own deadlines. So,
did you talk to
30
the
days.
council on this?
excuse me?
Did you talk to the council on this?
I did not talk to him about this specific resolution, but I discussed the prior resolution and what my intentions were going forward, yes.
I will say that, if the board passes this, I will be in discussion with him as to the verbiage that I should be using.
Certainly,
I'm just letting you know that,
I have no
I
problem
think
with
you
that.
should be involved
I think-
yourself. I think the council should handle this. I mean, It's been going on quite a while.
I think we can serve the notice, but I think as far as if we don't receive payment, then the next step and from all subsequent steps should probably be handled by the attorney. But I think we're free to do this. We're simply requesting voluntary payment at this point.
Because I have a problem with it, you know, regardless, I'm not gonna mention her name, but regardless, if you like the person or not, you got the past, present, and the future. She's no longer an employee of the town of Thurman. And I have a problem with that there might be legal repercussion for the town. I don't know, that's why I would like to talk to the council, because I really think there could be a big repercussion on this. Especially bringing her name up, and now that she's not an employee anymore,
well, she was advised in a letter that she was initially set, that she was.
it don't matter, to me, the way I feel, she's still a town employee. They've got rights, you gotta be careful. Like I said, whether you like the person or not, she still has rights as an employee, okay?
No, she's no longer an employee.
That's the problem too, okay?
Ed, I understand, you know, you're sensitive to this, and I appreciate
Yeah, I
your,
do,
your
I am.
position on this.
All this cases before.
But keep in mind, unless this is actually in litigation, all of this information is subject to FOIL, and
Oh,
these
yeah,
are all
and
public.
it is, but I just
So-
don't feel that we as a group should be putting it out there, you know, that's all. And it's just for respect for the person, whether you like them or not, and it wouldn't matter who it was.
So are you recommending that we take the person's name out
I
and
don't
proceed with the resolution without the name?
I don't think we should have her name in there, her name should be out,
So if we take the name out, you'll,
I'll go for it.
So what would you put in to identify her title, or what her
Just
position was?
an employee, you should,
Well, you need to know the specific employee.
You do, it's got.
The former bookkeeper
secretary.
secretary.
And just take the name out. I just don't feel comfortable because I've dealt with this before. And it could bring legal repercussions, I think, that's why I don't have counsel on this. That's just the way I feel, you know.
So you want to strike her
That's what I'm
name
saying in the
as
road.
Secretary of State?
I mean,
if you're in agreement that we're all, we
Oh,
know
I'm
who we're
in
talking
agreement.
about.
I'm in agreement that we should try to reimburse our money. And I'm not really sure if this is the proper way, but this would get us started, right? Whether this is right or we gotta go another route.
The only thing is for, I'm not, I can't, that is the word I want for,
Posterity? I don't know what you're trying to say.
60 years down the road, when they look at this, who is the town secretary?
No.
I think that the name has to be mentioned somewhere, but perhaps maybe then go on to say, secretary bookkeeper. Put in her name, secretary bookkeeper, and then just reference secretary, I don't know.
I just don't feel comfortable.
Because you have to be able to know who that they were referencing.
How about putting in the date that she
It's
was
in there.
employed and unemployed?
That doesn't matter, there's a lot of people
That would cover who it was.
Don't you have an employee
that
number
title.
for bookkeeping?
No, there's no employee number. We're so small. Thank you, though.
I mean, it does say confidential secretary who was notified by certified letter dated April 28, 2021.
And she's not a confidential secretary. She was not a confidential secretary, she's just a secretary / bookkeeper. That
I
was her
think in
title.
town law, the actual title is confidential
Yes.
secretary, but that doesn't matter. I'm not concerned about that. Ed, I hear what you're saying, and I understand you're sensitive to that. I just don't know,
It wouldn't matter who it was, I'd still feel the same.
and I appreciate that.
But I do agree that we need to move forward and like this one way or the other.
Can I make a suggestion that since it's out there, and it is in the public at this point in time, and it has been allowed, that the board be allowed to vote yea or nay, and in the future, reference, secretary bookkeeper, you have to mention her name once, I think.
Maybe for the future, we should have every town employee with a number. Or give them a number.
But the thing is, even if you do that, those numbers are gonna be public information, so somebody can go look it up.
Well, yeah, but at least the name will be on.
I guess at this point, it
Oh,
don't
my
matter.
God.
I mean, this,
I just wanna make sure that we're going at it legally the right way, where it's not gonna cost the town mega bucks if this ends up in court. That's all I'm concerned about. And I hope you understand it, you know what I'm saying. It doesn't take a lot of hours in the court, you know, back up the bills.
yeah, unfortunately, this has already been posted on the town website. I mean, everybody here has it, it's already kind of a done deal, so,
Yeah.
I mean, now all we're doing is formalizing it by voting on it, so I think it's kind of already history, the name is out there,
Yeah.
so.
Because I'm sure council is gonna take this in a different direction.
They could.
Oh, yeah, I'm
They could.
sure he will. They'll go in a different direction.
And I can assure you that I will speak to council before.
No, that's fine, no, you should, there's no reason you shouldn't. And I'm sure that it will come to council.
Is there any further discussion on this?
No, no.
Do you have any objection conditions if the board
No,
goes forward with this?
it's gotta be done.
Okay.
It's gotta be done.
Doug, any discussion? Randy, any further discussion? Can I please have a roll call vote? Excuse me.
Councilman DeLucia,
Yes.
Councilman Brown,
Yes.
Councilman Needham,
Abstain.
Supervisor Shepler.
Yes.
Oh, gosh.
Thank you.
Yeah. No, I know. At least I said what I wanted to
Well,
say.
we needed to. Okay.
Oh, God.
That is it for resolutions for this evening. We're going to go on to payment of claims. And if I lose my voice, I apologize. From the general fund, Joanna Cummings, 1540. Joanna Cummings, that was for mileage, 26.5 miles. Joanna Cummings, stamp certified mail and envelopes, 49.25. First bank cards, flashlight, battery, white out, postage, $60.54. New Horizons Rubber Stamp Company, address stamps for the tax collector and the assessor's office, $22.97. Oh, you separated, but it was on the one check. Okay, I see, thank you. So the first one is for the tax collector, the second one is for the assessor's office. Each was $22.97. Charlotte Needham, bar, $200. Shirley Wendling, bar, $200. Keith Parent, bar, $150. Rex Reynolds, bar, $150. Thomas Birdsall, mileage through May 10th, $154 at 275 miles. Avon Postmaster, one roll of stamps, $55. W.B. Mason, toner envelopes, Sharpies, ultrafine, and that's $155.85. Miller Shatner, balance due professional services, $1,282.50. Warren County Treasurer, election services for 2021, $1,500. National Grid, High Street, $198.70. National Grid, High Street, $23.47. National Grid, High Street, $32.93. Verizon Basic Internet, $108.99. Verizon Maze Bill, $232.45. Verizon Phone, $11.50. Magna 5, the phone service, $59.31. National Business Technology overage charges for printing, $7.78. Peckham Industries, $187.58 for 18.3 tons. This was for stone that they were using when they had to dig up the septic system at the highway department and have it pumped. Phoenix Environmental water testing, 8 samples, $160. Phoenix Environmental water testing for 2 samples, $40. Curtis Lumber, deck screws, $22.29. Curtis Lumber, 8-foot treated landscape ties, which are out front, $137.25. GA Bow, 58.6 gallons of propane for the landfill, $78.47. National Business Technology, monthly lease for the Caracia is $70. North Country Janitorial service for the month of May is $432. StoreTech Technology Solutions, the monthly rate is $925. Phoenix Environmental water testing 12 samples, $128. StoreTech Solutions, Microsoft 365 Business Basic monthly is $5. First Bank Card, hard camera 3-year plan. That was for the Highway Department, $292.28. National Grid, June, High Street Garage, $94.22. National Grid Street Light for June, $45.71. State Comptroller, Town Share of Fines and Fees, $168. Leasing Center DBA, this is for NCL, this was the $500 the board had approved for the documentation for the garbage truck. National Grid, June landfill, 3687, Waste Management Corp. 3.53 ton demo and 3.11 ton demo.
Two non-process.
Two non-processables, which was $398.40. Stone Industry, porta potty for the landfill, $105. Hiram Hollow, 6.53 tons of trash for $470.16. Casella Waste, 4 40-yard roll-offs, C&D and plastic, $1,300. Certainly.
Just that 1,300 there, remember we were talking, that's just the cost to have the stuff on. Okay?
Thank you. Iron Hollow, 5.99 tons of trash, $431.28. Stone Industry, porta potty for the landfill, $105. Total for the general fund, $10,826.12. Again, for the general fund, abstract number 6, June 9th, is $10,826.12. The highway fund. Warren County Department of, May 25th, 21, 217.5 gallons of unleaded, $510.93. Catamount Consulting, this was the Masha refresher course for 7 employees, $1,000. Bill Arnold, boot reimbursement, $102.99. Robert H. Fink and Sons, transport 2 pieces of equipment for 8.5 hours, $437.50. Peckham Industries, 18.3 tons. And then 34.77 tons of light stone fill, $604.82. Peckham Industries, 6.15 tons type 7 top, escalation type 6 top. What is the, do you know what that is?
Yeah, that's probably like that.
Okay,
Type six.
okay. $635.47. Main Care Energy, 1,565.2 gallons of ultra-low sulfur diesel, $3,593.70. HL Gauge, filter, dryer, and freight, $116.02. HL Gauge, anti-lock brake system, ABS module, $500.46. Braley Knoxon, brushings, couplings, nibble balls, $25.15. Braley Knoxon, enamel gloss black, rusty metal primer, Ace Better, $110.14. Braley Knoxon, ultra 5-gallon mix, 1 6-pack, $47.94. I just want to interrupt and let everybody know that the line only allows us to put so much in there for information, so it comes out kind of misconstrued sometimes, but if you wanted to come up and look at the bills to find out if something was really curious, you could do that, okay? So I apologize if it sounds odd, because it sounds odd to me. Braley Knoxon, rate, spring rack, 22 time, $31.98. Braley Knoxon, shop towels, brushing, PVC nipple, $50.46. Braley Knoxon, what is that? Do you know that? Oh, something PLG. Okay, it was $6.26. Braley Knoxon, elbow black, 12-inch, 90, nipple black, half close nipple is $13.96. M&B's Company, refill 32-inch by 8-foot wafer combo, $1,615.98. Anderson Equipment Company, greater blade times 4, freight $465.58. Anderson Equipment Company, plow bolt nuts grade 8, $82.56. Shaw Truck Repair, New York State Inspection, $20. Northway Communications, replacement antennas, $40. Curtis Lumber, Time Master Timber Screws, 50 count, $44.69. Curtis Lumber, DW40, 1030, 5/8-inch no cups burrs, $19.98. Fall Farm Garden Equipment, plug seal, $28.68. Fall Farm and Garden Equipment, quick lock pin shipping, $28.67. Warrensburg Auto and Truck, latex disposable gloves, $30.09. Warrensburg Auto and Truck, Napa, VR chain oil, gallon times 2, $34.98. Warrensburg Auto and Truck, Wayquist battery core deposit times 2, $122.24. Warrensburg Auto and Truck, PAG oil, $7.83. Warrensburg Auto and Truck fitting, $12.98. Warrensburg Auto and Truck Clubby, $8.59. Warrensburg Auto and Truck gallon bucket, Urbana bed liner, safety glasses, $51.16. Warrensburg Auto and Truck air filter, oil filter, fuel filter, lube fill, $364.50. Northern Truck and Equipment, switch freeze, AC, A45, AC filter, ELM, $490.93. Scott Crandall, Medicare reimbursement for April, May, and June, $445.50. Myrtle Weiss, Medicare reimbursement for June, $148.50. Sheila Ackley, Medicare reimbursement for June, $148.50. Bruce Dingman, Medicare reimbursement for June, $148.50. Total of claims for abstract 6 for the Highway Department, $12,148.22. Again, that's $12,148.22. The enterprise fund, we have pole rental May for Joseph Croft, $50. So the total claims for June 9th for abstract number 6 is $23,024.34.
Will you say that again, please?
Certainly. $23,024.34. Can somebody please introduce the payment of claims? Doug, thank you. Do I have a second? Ed, thank you. Can I please have a roll call vote? Excuse me.
Supervisor Sheckler,
Yes.
Councilman Needham,
Yes.
Councilman Brown,
Yes.
Councilman Galusha,
Yes.
Pass, thank you. Do I have any reports from the board this evening? No? Well, with that being said, can I have a motion to adjourn?
Before we do, I just have a couple of things I was wondering. What's the status of the effort to replace our secretary/bookkeeper?
It's been in the paper. Susan ran an ad for me under Help Wanted. I believe it was 7 days, Sue.
yeah, 7 days, Saturday, it started
So
Saturday.
it's.
And it should be on the internet, I think, for 30.
Okay, so
on
that
the internet,
starts,
I'm sorry.
Starts this coming
It
Saturday?
started last Saturday, so it's running now till, I guess it'll end Friday.
And I take it we haven't had any responses yet.
It's, I would
As
speak to
of this
her.
morning, there was no mail, but I didn't make it back to the post office this afternoon.
Second thing, I've had some people express concern about what's happening with paychecks. I understand the situation we're in. But our animal control officer indicated to me that he not only hasn't received his recent paycheck, but he was never paid for the month of April.
That's not true. I got an email from him. He never got his April one. I stopped paying and reissuing it, and I've had communications with him. He did receive his May one.
Okay,
And I've got the email from him upstairs. He had received the May one,
when did he,
yesterday, I believe it was.
okay, he didn't let me know that.
And the April one has not materialized, and I've stopped payment at the bank, and I'm reissuing him,
Okay.
is what I'm doing with that.
Mary, you had contacted me about the freezer. That's all taken care of?
Yes,
Susan already took care of it.
Okay.
it's being delivered on the 29th of
Good.
June. A lot's going on the 29th of June.
Yes. Okay. I think that's all I had. Was there something you wanted me to bring up? I can't remember now. No. Okay.
I talked to you briefly about it earlier, I've had a lot of people ask me about concerts in the park. Is there going to be any steps move forward on it, just so I have an answer for it?
That's absolutely fine.
You know, I gotta have some answer.
That's fine. What has happened is last year, everything was booked, including the fireworks, by the middle of January. And that's when you have to book a lot of these bands and events because they all book up very fast. I had at the end of January, beginning of February, call everybody and cancel because we had to cancel the events. This year, I would like to have it, but we weren't able to even contemplate doing anything about it until 4 weeks ago. What I will say to you is the bandstand is in dire need of attention. The electrical, we've had issues with, and the lights would flicker, and the plug for where they would plug in their instruments and so forth would cause, it's not a brownout, what's it called, where it like waves in and out?
Surge.
So what I would like to do is have an electrician look at the bandstand, and if there's any repairs that are needed to do it, and then I would like to also see about finding some bands if there's still anybody available to come and play for us. We're not going to be able to do fireworks this year, I was told, but I can call him back and ask him again if he's had any cancellations.
There's plenty of local electricians, get a hold of.
Well, I'd like to find a certified electrician because this is,
There's a lot of them.
okay.
It's used Mr. Galivas in the past.
Yeah, he's really good.
I'm sorry, who?
Mr. Galivas.
He's not an electrician. He's not a certified
I
electrician.
believe he is.
No, he's not. So anyhow,
When I was a maintenance man, I used to do it myself.
those days are gone. So do I have the board's blessing to have an electrician go out there and look at the bandstand and see if we can go ahead and get any repairs done to it that are needed so that we can look at trying to book some bands.
Yeah, definitely for sure.
Devin, yes? Ed?
Yes.
Randy?
How we paying for it?
It will be paid for out of occupancy tax money if we're gonna utilize it.
Plenty in that reserve fund.
If you're gonna talk about occupancy tax, I'm gonna recuse myself from the discussion because I don't think you should be using occupancy tax for that.
It can be used for capital improvements, and you've got appendix, the papers right in your folder.
I'm happy to have appendix A because, thank you, you provided it.
Yes, I did.
And
Pretty sure.
the very last paragraph on the last page of Schedule A
Let me find it.
says, when spending funds for capital projects, it is necessary to be sure the primary benefit is to promotion of tourist activities, conventions, trade shows, special events, and other directly related and supported activities. A project which only incidentally furthers tourism, etc., and primarily benefits residents is not allowable as contrary to the legislatively authorized use of this fund. So we've been around this
The
before.
bandstand is not utilized by the public, it is utilized during the summer for summer concerts.
And the majority of people that attend the concerts are local people.
Wow.
I'm just saying,
It's tricky.
it's.
Can I say something? We had an electrician, I can't think of his name, he lives on, when you get off 9 on 28,
I know
go
the
just a
little
little
way
way.
you're speaking of, yes.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly what he did, but he did do some things up there, and so he's kind of familiar
Okay,
with it.
thank you.
You might look back in the bills,
It was Mike.
and then you'll be able to tell what he
It
did.
was Mike Libas.
Yeah, Mike, that's right, that's his name.
So I should be able to.
Yeah, he's at third, he's, you know.
There is hope, yeah, yeah.
She's saying
So-
nobody is.
Randy, I don't mean to say
Yeah,
that,
we
but we
did
have,
stuff.
the four of us that are present have agreed that I can go ahead and, have that
Majority
looked
rules.
at. So I am going to pursue that avenue.
Got excited,
Is there any other discussion amongst the board? Randy? Doug? Okay, no. Then can I have a motion to adjourn?
Yes, yes.
It's gonna be Doug and seconded by Ed.
All in favor?
Radio, aye.
Aye. All right, our next board meeting is the 14th of July. A reminder to everybody again that the gleaning will be on July 12th. That is the second Monday of the month,
Mark,
okay?
I'll forget it.
Thank you everybody for coming out.